Hi there, this is Dave Dubeau with this week's episode of Canadian Profits TV. Welcome. Hope you're having a good week. Hope you didn't get caught with any April Fool's jokes yesterday. I just recently got back from a very fun tour doing our rent-to-own three-way payday events throughout southern BC. It worked so well. We're going to be doing that in Alberta. So if you're in Alberta, keep your eye open for information about that coming up. Easter's on its way. Hope you're planning some fun stuff. I'm definitely going to have a lot of fun taking the kids up north to Powder King to get some spring skiing in. So I hope you have a great Easter. So what are we going to be talking about today on Canadian Profits TV? Three great topics. So for our business breakthrough, going to keep elaborating a little bit on the worst number in business, which is the number one. For our real estate tips, I'm going to talk about a rent-to-own ripoff that really ticks me off. So stay tuned for that. And for our Mindset Minute, we'll be talking about not burning your bridges. Stay tuned. All right, so for today's business breakthrough, sticking along the lines of the number one and how it relates to business, and as far as I'm concerned, it's like the worst number you can have in business. Last week I talked a little bit about that, having your whole business relying on one source of clients. That's a big no-no. Today I'll talk about that as well. I'll elaborate on that when it comes to marketing. This is a big problem I see a lot of small business owners making, is they rely on one source of leads, of prospects, of customers for their businesses. And that is so dangerous. I'll just give you a few examples. So back quite a few years ago in the States, there were a lot of companies that relied a lot on infomercials for their business. Huge companies created very quickly thanks to infomercials. Overnight, infomercials were made illegal, and the maximum length of a commercial could only be 2 minutes. That wiped out a whole industry overnight. Now you might say that, well, that's an exception. No, that's not an exception. Same thing happened with direct fax. Direct fax, before email became the big thing, was very prevalent, especially down in the States. And people were just faxing like crazy, having a great time and doing a lot of business through direct fax. Overnight, legislation came in, outlawed that across the board as well. Again, entire companies went out of business because of that. So, if you're overly reliant on just one source, one marketing source for your customers, you're in a very dangerous position. A lot of people, I see a lot of online businesses right now, very precarious. If all they did, a lot of guys that I knew in the business relied on Google AdWords, on certain things through Google. Google changed the rules. They own the media. And wham, the infamous Google slap came along and their ad costs went through the roof overnight. No advance warning, no notification, nothing, and nowhere to turn. So, what's the solution? The solution is to have multiple things that you're doing for your marketing. Have it spread out over a variety of different media, so that if one stops working or gets outlawed, you're not stuck. That's why the number one is the worst number for marketing in business. That's your business breakthrough. Okay, for our real estate tip, I want to talk about a rent-to-own ripoff. And if you've been following me for a while, there are a couple of different things that rent-to-own has got muddied with, has got a bad reputation about, and one is churn and burn, with landlords ripping off tenant buyers with bad rent-to-own deals and just trying to get them in and spitting them out and getting the next one in. That's one. Now there's another one, there's another rent-to-own ripoff that deals specifically with potential investors, and this one is very insidious. So it looks great on the surface. It gets painted as a wonderful option. It looks fantastic until reality comes in. So there are quite a few rent-to-own companies out there right now that are basically offering you this deal. Okay, Mr. Investor, prospective rent-to-own investor, here's what we're going to do. We're going to find you the client, the tenant buyer. We're going to find them the house. We're going to put the whole deal together for you, give it to you on a silver platter, and you put up the money to buy the house. And then we'll just keep the money from the tenant buyer as our fee, and you get the whole deal, and you can manage it, and you can run with it. And they show very good potential returns. Now, that can work very well. I'm not, in theory, it's a very good theory, but here's the challenge. If you let go of control of processing and filtering and sorting and filtering and interviewing potential tenant buyers, you're setting yourself up for potential huge risk and failure and just a whole economic nightmare for yourself and your family. I'll tell you how this worked, worst case scenario. So a person that I know quite well got involved with one of these kind of deals. The deal maker, the rent-to-own deal maker guy, offered them this fantastic opportunity. Basically, it was a pre-foreclosure type deal. So the family was in the home. They were having economic troubles. Looked like they were going to get out of it. Shouldn't be a problem, but they were behind on their payments. But they had a lot of equity in the house. So the rent-to-own guy put the deal together. The folks I know came in as the investors, put up the money, bought the home, turned around and rented to own it back to the people who were already in it. So it sounds good on paper, except the rent-to-own investor guy got his money up front and took off. He was done with the deal. The challenge was the investors did not look closely at the financial situation of the tenant buyer. Turned out the tenant buyer couldn't turn their financial situation around, stopped making rental payments very quickly, and then when they got the house back, it turns out that the tenant buyer had started a major renovation in it, had just kind of done a very poor job, had just basically torn everything out to start the reno, hadn't done the reno. So at the end of the day, the investor had put up the money for the down payment to buy the property, and then because the renovations hadn't been done, it was actually worth $100,000 less than what they paid for it in the first place. Double whammy. So they lost their rent-to-own deal. They've got all their capital invested in that. Then they have to come up with another $100,000 to fix the damn place up to get it back up to a sellable position. A lot of people, that would sink them and bankrupt them. So be very careful if you see those kind of rent-to-own deals coming your way. Make sure you're the one in control of who you're getting into your properties. And that's why I think it's a much better idea for you to be the deal maker and control the whole deal from A to Z. That's your real estate tip for today. Okay, Mindset Minute. I want to talk about not burning bridges. Don't burn bridges. This came back to me today, not today, but recently in conversations with a past associate who I used to work with years ago. We're looking at working together again nowadays. When we split on good grounds. We stopped working together on very good grounds. However, if I had been like a lot of folks, I could have very well burnt my bridges at that point when we stopped working together, not lived up to my word, not done what I promised to do, and just kind of gone off on my merry way. Unfortunately, a lot of folks do that. You, as I'm sure is the case, and myself, we're quite a bit different. When we say something, we do it, we stick to our word. And if you do that, it's amazing how things can turn around and come back and bless you in the long run. So never burn your bridges. Do what you say you're going to do and keep your word. That's your Mindset Minute for this week. Okay, what's going on with Canadian profits? Lots of stuff coming up. First thing I want to talk to you about is for real estate investors and folks who are interested in real estate investing, how would you like to get a hold of as much money as you want for real estate investing? Sounds good? How about getting a hold of people's RRSP money? Sounds even better, doesn't it? There's billions and billions of dollars out there. Last number I saw was something like $790 billion in RRSP funds out there. Most of it squandered away in mutual funds, getting crappy results for its owners. So on April the 10th, Tuesday, April the 10th, 6 p.m. Pacific, holding a special webinar with my good friend Paul Blackyer, how to get all the money you want for real estate investing through RRSP funds. So check that out if you're an active real estate investor or you're going to become one, and you can find out all about that at CanadianProfitsWebinar.com. Speaking of fun stuff going on, Diamond member getaway, Diamond only getaway, this May 18th, 19th, and 20th in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. It's going to be a blast. If you're a Diamond member, you've gotten information about that. If you're not a Diamond member, you should be. This is your opportunity to come down with a batch of us, Darren Weeks, myself, and some others, plus a lot of Diamond members, to do a rich dad getaway. Hopefully meeting Mr. Kiyosaki, that's not for sure, but we'll at least visit his offices. Plus, we'll go visit Ken McElroy and some other Rich Dad Advisors network. Have a lot of fun. Again, that's May 18th, 19th, and 20th, Scottsdale, Arizona. If you're not a Diamond member, you can find out all about that at CanadianProfitsDiamond.com. Thanks a lot. Have a great week. Have a great Easter, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.